minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to Kopish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy.
Yeah.
You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kopish.
Good morning, lovely people, and welcome back to Team Kopish. My name is Callum, representing Team Kopish. As always, when we get behind the mic, please make sure you subscribe, comment, and like. Excuse me if my voice is a little bit raspy this morning. Still getting over the little flu I've had recently. Went to the gym this morning, so still feeling a little tired. But we move, people. It's a new week. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. We give God thanks for health and life. And what a weekend it's been, people. I think everyone can admit now that Chelsea are legit title challengers. Arsenal and Manchester City still aren't doing what they're meant to be doing, which is kind of crazy, especially for Man City. Arsenal, we'd have thought would be capitalizing on this current situation, but they're not either. And Trent came out of an interview and is also the talk of the town, given his poor performance and news that came out. So let's start with it, people. Let's start. News came out today that, news came out yesterday that Trent has rejected up to 3 contract offers. Now, I'm going to dissect that phrase. What does up to 3 mean? Does that mean he's rejected 1, 2, or 3? The wording is very ambiguous, in my opinion. What does up to 3 mean? Because up to 3 could mean 2, could mean 1, could mean 3. Wouldn't you just say he's rejected 3 contract offers? Now, straight away when this happens, people go, Trent this, Trent that. And granted, his performance of the weekend doesn't help his situation, especially with how he just looked in terms of a lack of effort and poor attitude from a defensive standpoint. It didn't look good. And maybe, look, I've been his biggest defender when it comes to this situation, even though I've been critical of his defending and my want for him to play in midfield rather than right back all the time. And the fact that this seems to be a tier 1 source as well, even though that has to be taken with a pinch of salt nowadays as well. We don't know what the contract offers were, guys. And I'm not trying to defend him, but we genuinely don't. So yeah, on the surface, it looks as though he's a rejected 3 contracts. He definitely must want out, and he don't want to be at the club anymore. But we genuinely don't know what the contract terms were. And again, the fact that Salah and Virgil haven't signed either surely must be a telling sign that, it's not great with negotiations at the moment. Now, one, we don't know if it's fact if he's rejected his contracts. He said in the interview he doesn't want this contract situation to play out in public. He's not spoken about this contract situation. This has been reported in the Marca, which is Real Madrid's basically mouthpiece propaganda driven content. What do we do here? Because I think it's very easy for us as fans to go, you know what, this is disgusting. Why is he rejecting contracts? But we don't know. So I'm going to ask you guys a question here. And I want you guys to be very open-minded when I ask this question. And it's hard because we're Liverpool fans. We put the club first. And it's very hard considering he's scouts, he's come through the academy, and we've seen him as our future. We see Trent as someone who we can imagine retiring at Liverpool Football Club. Many of you want him to be future captain. But could Trent be waiting on the other two to sign? Could Trent be looking at what Virgil, Van Dijk and Salah are doing? Could he be looking at what Ibu and the Diaz situation as well? Could he also be looking at it from a standpoint of, what do I want from this club? Can this club provide me with success? Because let's be real, going into January, we know we need players, but how many of us in the chat actually believe we're going to get said players? Because of a history of our ownership letting us down when we really need them the most. That must be tiring on the players. Can you imagine how tiring it is on us? Imagine how tiring it is on the players. So I'm going to ask you guys a serious question here. What do you think Trent is worth in terms of monetary value on a weekly basis? What should his salary be in your opinion? Now, before you answer that, I know some of you are going to go, he's just a right back. He can't defend. He's lazy. But that hasn't been the narrative all season. In fact, that hasn't been the narrative throughout the entire course of his career up until now, especially just the right back thing. We've sat here as a fan base and we've said he's generational. We've also said that he's changed the role at right back. We've also said he's the best right back in the world. These are stuff that not I've just said, not just me, not just Matt, not just Drift, but collectively in the fan base, this has been said since 2017 when he broke through to today. We've also said he's an assist king. We've also said that he's one of the most creative players on the planet, one of the best passers of ball on the planet. So now I ask the question again. If he's seen by many of you as the best right back in the world, one of the best passers of ball in the world, one of the most creative players in the world, a future potential captain for the club, one of our best players, one of the best players in world football, how much should he be getting per week? Because I don't want to hear he's just a right back thing, because he's not just a right back, guys. And I'm saying this as someone who criticizes Trent. He's not just a right back. And look, many of you will say I'm negative. Many of you will say I get it wrong. I get it wrong. I get stuff wrong all the time. But I also get stuff right as well. Matt gets stuff wrong all the time. I also get stuff right all the time as well. Drift gets stuff wrong sometimes as well and all the time. He also gets stuff right all the time as well. And one thing we've all agreed on is that Trent is a Liverpool player that we need to keep. So I ask you again, guys, he's not just a right back. How much should he be getting a week? Because me personally, I would not be upset with Trent getting upwards of 300k. He's 25 years old, potentially coming into his prime as a football player, knows the club inside out, knows the standards of the club, is the vice captain of the club, whether we want him to be or not. He's the vice captain. There's no other player in world football like him at right back. Do I think we can get other right backs that potentially suit slot system better? Potentially, yeah. Yeah, I do. And again, I know for a fact that I get criticized with this the most about what I'm in midfield and, you know, harping on about his defensiveness, defensive frailties, yada, yada, yada. I do those things, and I will take that criticism on the chin. But I'm also the first to sit here and go, it's not his fault why his contract's been run down, and he's a player that deserves 300k. So if you're going to criticize me for those things, you've got to appreciate my stance on this from another side as well. For me, Trent deserves anything from 300k upwards. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to go into the 400 realms, but 300 to 350, I'm more than good with, if I'm going to be honest, guys. It's not my money, and I think he's generated enough money for the club. Corner taken quickly, that was Trent. Pivotal to us winning the league and pivotal to us winning the Champions League. Extremely important in us winning the Carabao and FA Cups. Extremely important in us winning trophies and finishing high up the table. Extremely important as a footballer to Liverpool Football Club. And look, I know as a club, we've been, kind of programmed to certain players should only get a certain amount and this, that, and the other. You have to look at what other clubs are paying players. You have to look at what other clubs are doing. We can't sit here as a fan base and go, we're chasing down City, we're chasing down Arsenal sometimes, or we're chasing down Chelsea, we're chasing down Man United in yesteryears, and go, we need to be doing this and doing that to make sure we catch those players. And then in the same breath, turn around and go, oh, no, well, I don't care if they're paying their players that much. This is Liverpool. We do things different here. Where's the balance, guys? I know you can sit there and go, other clubs overpay their players. Hey, big up to Jerry James. Hope you're well, brother. Still miss you not doing content, but hope you're well, bro. That's the main thing. Health is wealth, man. Hope you're good, bro. Where was I? Yeah, I look, there's players at other clubs who are getting way more than they should be getting. Way more. I'll admit that. But there was also a player, I mean, again, I use Saka as an example. And I'm talking as someone who's rated Saka for a long time, still rates him. I'm even starting to put Saka in that bracket just below world class, just about to hit world class. In my opinion, he's almost there now. How much is Saka getting a week? If I'm not mistaken, Saka's on about 280 to 300k a week. Probably getting bonuses on top of that. Saka's not achieved half of what Trent's achieved. They call him the star boy. This is our star boy, no? Or has that all changed recently? He's our star boy, no? Because that's what I've been hearing over the years. Trent's our star boy. So shouldn't he deserve to get Saka money or more than what Saka's on? If he's delivered more than what Saka has? If we look at other clubs with their star boys, look how much they're getting. Rashford was the Man United star boy. His last contract, Rashford got 300 and something K. He's their star boy, no? Phil Foden. How much is Phil Foden on? He's Man City's star boy. Isn't he on like 300k as well? He's delivered for Man City just like Trent's delivered for Liverpool. Isn't he on 300k or something like that as well? He's their star boy, and isn't Trent our star boy? Again, I might be wrong here. I might be wrong. But even I'm seeing some of you in the chat saying Trent can't defend. He's a right back. He costs us. He's not a star boy. Behave. It's because he's scouts. How are we sitting there not calling Trent a star boy? Didn't he break into the team at 18? Isn't he a top assist maker for all defenders? More assists than Scholes, Beckham, and all these, man, if I'm not mistaken. This is a right back we're talking about. Just a right back, apparently. Why is there more vim towards Trent than there is to the club for not sorting out his contract? I don't get it. How is Trent not a star boy for Liverpool now? How is he not? Come on, guys, man. I'm sitting there telling you I don't think Trent's a world-class defender. He's not a poor defender. Bad attitude when it comes to defending sometimes. Inconsistencies with defending. But when he wants to turn it on, we've seen it earlier on this season against Chelsea. When he wants to turn it on, very good. Very good defender when he wants to turn it on. That's a mentality thing. That needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. But are we really going to start turning on Trent? I know, guys. I know. Either FSG cut me off, my internet or my laptop doing a madness. We know how it goes now. But are we really, really going to turn on him like this, guys? Are we really going to sit here and go, the club does things a different way, so, we can't break our wage structure for Trent. We can't go above and beyond for Trent. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But again, that's just my opinion. I know I have a different stance from everyone else. I know Drift, for example, is very vocal about this, saying that if Trent leaves on a free, he's dead to him. I don't have that same stance at the moment. Until I hear he's offered 300k or something like that, plus bonuses, and then turns around and says, no, I want to play for Real Madrid, I'm backing the player. In this contract situation, I'm backing the player. In terms of his performance on the pitch and defending and all that, you know where I stand on that. Hey, big up to Jem in the chat. It's been a while, brother. I hope you're well. You know what, Jem? I ain't heard from you in a while. Now Chelsea are back. I'm starting to see and hear you more. But nah, all blessings to you, Jem, bro. Hope you're well. Hope the family's well as well. So yeah, that's where I stand on it, guys. Again, I might be completely wrong. You guys might completely disagree. If you disagree, do let me know in the comment section. Just keep it respectful. That's all I ask. I'll respond respectfully as well. But that's where I sit. That's where I sit on it. I think Trent's a world-class player. And if you're a world-class player, you should be getting world-class money. That's just my opinion on it. You're in Dubai, bro. Big up yourself, Jem, man. Big up, man. Big up. Right. Let's move on. We all know and we all want a centre midfielder in January. We wanted one last summer. We wanted a DM the summer before that. And the summer before that. This season, Gravenberch has been a revelation. Now, look, I know, shout out to Mont, shout out to Jamie, shout out to Matt and Drift. We all did the Jim Caicedo. There it is. There it is. Can't go for a stream about Caicedo, especially we've been playing well at the moment. But big up to Monts, Jay, Drift, and Matt. We all did the match reaction on Saturday after the Fulham game. And I started to get cooked a little bit regarding my stance on Gravenberch and the centre midfield situation. In the past on Gravenberch, that is. Gravenberch has been an absolute revelation this season. However, the point remains we are still short in midfield, in my opinion. Jones has been very good this season. Szoboszlai looks like he's starting to become the player that we once thought he would be. McAllister's McAllister. Been a little bit inconsistent this season, but still is a top draw footballer, as we all know. I still think we're short one. Endo was very good at the second half of last season, but I don't think he's what we need long term. And I don't think Klopp, big up Klopp. I don't think Slot fancies him in the Liverpool system. I think we will probably move him on. He definitely doesn't fancy Tyler Morton in the system, which is a little weird to me that he's not even seen any football pretty much whatsoever. But I think those two players will be moved on. Now, today we've been linked with, or yesterday again, late evening, we were linked with someone called Samuel Ricci, plays for Torino in Italy. He was linked with Man City earlier on this season as well. And look, he's a very good player. La Stampa have reported this, that he's available for around 25 million. And they're a very reputable source as well. And to answer your question, Jem, and a few of you have asked this question, and I've even asked it myself, what type of centre midfielder do we need? Because Gravenberch is, I know people speak about Gravenberch's defensive output, but he's just been an all-round monster, whether that be driving forward with the ball, his passing, his interceptions, his reading of the game, his tackling, winning his, as Mons would say, winning his duels. What type of midfielder do we need? Because I've been thinking we need a player who can come in and almost replicate what Gravenberch does in much. Hey, shout out to Liao 101, Angelo Stiller. I've been telling people, what type of midfielder do we need, guys? Do we need a back again? Apologies. As I was saying, what type of centre midfielder do we need? Because I've always thought we need someone to be able to come in and replicate Gravenberch's game a little bit. Or we need a destroyer next to Gravenberch. But then that throws up questions about McAllister and Jones and Szoboszlai and Elliott. I don't know what we need now. Because Gravenberch is showing he can do the defensive capabilities. Mont said it very, very well. he's doing what Fabinho was doing to an extent. Now, granted, Fabinho was like by himself, whereas Grav's in a pivot. I've also seen games this season where we have had Grav as a single pivot in a 4-3-3 system, and he's been absolutely fine. I think we need almost a controller who's got defensive nous next to Grav. I still think Grav's best performance this season so far, and I know the Fulham game was brilliant considering he played centre back in that game as well. I still think his best performance so far this season was against Manchester United, where he was effectively a box-to-box midfielder. And I think buying someone very defensively sound allows him to do that. Ederson's a good shot. Ederson's not moving from Atalanta. Tchouameni would be a player that I would look to get because I do think we need some physicality in that midfield. I mean, Erling Ugarte did look good against City. He really did. I don't want to speak about Ugarte because I've been dragged about Ugarte, but if he starts playing well for Man United, I will be collecting some receipts. I think we need someone defensively strong next to Grav, and I think we need someone athletic. I'm not just into pace and power. I think we need someone athletic. I do think our midfield, people get out our midfield still. I still think people are able to run through our midfield. I need someone who's athletic to stop that. I need someone who's athletic that goes, you know what, I'll deal with this, Grav. So you can receive the ball higher up the pitch and you can drive forward and make stuff happen further up the pitch. I think we forget Gravenberch has got a good eye for goal. I think we forget he's got a decent long shot. I think we forget he arrives in the box late when he was at Ajax and was scoring goals. A lot of you are saying Belieber. Belieber's very good. I just think you're going to be spending a lot of money getting him out of Brighton. A lot of money. And I don't know if we're willing to do that. Plus, I don't know if he's the finished article yet. I think he's quite short from being a finished article, even though the argument is also that buy him now before he becomes the finished article where he completely prices himself out and move for Liverpool. I just don't know. Do I think Ricci's the answer? Genuinely, I don't. I think he's a very good footballer. I just don't think he's the answer. Football God, no, I'm not saying Grav's a 10. I'm not saying, I know I did say that in the past, to be honest, but I'm not saying that now. Even though I do think he could play the role. I don't think he's a 10 in this slot system. But I do think Grav could play as an 8, could play further up the pitch. GR, I've watched Ricci a couple of times. I wouldn't say I've watched him extensively, but from what I've seen, I don't think he's the guy. I think Angelo Stiller would suit us to a T, but I still don't know if he's physical or athletic enough to do what the job is. Tchouameni, for me, is the one that kind of stands out. Whether he'd leave Real Madrid or not, remains to be seen. So we'll see. I don't think we'll go for Ricci. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Man City went in for him still. They need reinforcements over at City. And do you know what? Big up to Pep Guardiola, Man City, doing some great stuff for my entertainment at the moment. I just don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if we're going to get someone in January, but we have to get someone for midfield. And let's not sit here and act like Slot doesn't want someone for midfield. He tried very hard to get Zubimendi. We as a club tried to get Zubimendi. We want someone. Just don't know who yet. So we'll see. Speaking of another problem position, in my opinion, and that is left back. It hurts me to speak about left back because Robertson is and has been one of my favourite Liverpool players for a while. I actually think he's one of Liverpool's most underrated players in the Klopp era. But I also look at him and go, the time is now to move on from Robbo. And it hurts me to say this, but I've just got to be a realist and I've just got to speak my truth. I'm not going to say I'm speaking the truth. I'm going to say I'm speaking my truth. I think Robbo is getting exposed on a weekly basis now, and it's not good at all. And I don't want him to stay so long that we sit here and we forget all the good that he's done. I think Fabinho and Henderson left at a time where we could still appreciate them because they didn't decline so much in our eyes. Same with Matip, Thiago as well. I think Robbo's starting to now cost us points. And that was never the case before. Robbo has been and was one of the most consistent and important players for Liverpool Football Club. In my opinion, he was at one time the best left back in the world. And I'd go and argue that with anyone. Robbo, in his peak, I saw him, I think, have one difficult game, and that was against Serge Gnabry at the Allianz against Bayern Munich in the 18-19 season. He locked up every other right winger and made it look comfy. Made it look really comfy. His relationship with Mane was just sensational. Them two were like they were just snipers. Robbo would know when to overlap. Mane would help defensively, but a lot of the time, Robbo had it under control anyway. But this isn't the Robbo we're seeing now. We're starting to see the same decline that we've seen in other players. His is very pronounced, though. And the reason it's so pronounced is I don't remember over the years as a Liverpool fan seeing teams actively target the right-hand side now. Sorry, their right-hand side, our left-hand side. It always used to be teams are attacking down Trent's side because he was seen as the weakest defender. And he was the weakest defender at one point. Now, teams are going to the right-hand side going, we're going to target him. He's the weak link in that defence. And granted, Tsimikas' fitness has been a little bit up and down since he's been at Liverpool Football Club. And it's weird. Drift made this point, and I didn't think about it until he said it. But every time Tsimikas almost gets a chance, he picks up an injury of some sort. Last season, he picked up the injury at Arsenal with his shoulder while Robbo was out at the same time. This season, Robbo's been out of form. Tsimikas picked up an injury when it looked like he could be getting some pitch time. We need to sort out left back. And obviously, we've been linked heavily with Kerkez. Obviously, we've been linked with Kerkez because Ricci Hughes brought him to Bournemouth. He's 21, Hungarian, so he's got a relationship with Szoboszlai. Also, apparently, Slot has admired him since he's been at AC Milan, and I think he played in Holland for a bit as well. But another player who has been linked over the last year, I'd say, and that is Anthony Robinson. And he had a very good game at the weekend. And I say that as someone who watched the game and saw Salah gave him problems, but he always gave as good as he got. Didn't win every duel against Salah. In fact, Salah got past him a couple of times, but you know what? From an attacking standpoint, from the defensive standpoint, he was on it all game. Would I love him at Liverpool Football Club? Yeah, I'd be good with that. I'd be good with Anthony Robinson. Do I think he's the best left back in the world? No, of course not. I think he's better than Kerkez at the moment. But Kerkez, with his age, has an upside. So I ask you guys, is this where it comes down to the club again? Do you think we would sign a 27 or soon to be 28-year-old, or if we were to sign him in the summer, 28-year-old left back? Because I don't. The only way that makes sense to me is if we're selling both fullbacks and Owen Beck or Luke Chambers is going to be the backup. I see no world whatsoever where it is Robinson that we sign simply because of his age. I'm not saying Robinson is old in my opinion. I mean, who am I to talk? I'd sign Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez would be my first choice. But then I also look at someone like a Nuno Mendes at PSG. I look at someone like a Jiro Hato who can also cover at centre-back as well. Alphonso Davies, who's available on a free, even though I think he ends up at Real Madrid. I think we need to broaden our horizons, not just look in the Premier League. I fully agree, 27 is not old. I'm not saying 27 is old. I can't say 27 is old. I'm older than 27. But I think FSG... I mean, I'll ask you, how many players have we signed over the age of 27? Under since we've had Klopp. Can't think of many. I think Thiago. Let me actually have a think. So when Klopp first came in, we signed Matip on a free, Grujic. Then in the summer we signed Mane, Gini. Then after that, wow, Tev says I'm way older than 27. All right, bruv. All right, do I look that bad, yeah? All right, cool. Thanks for that, Tev. Then the following summer was Ox. We signed Emre. Emre Can was under Brendan, to be fair. Big up yourself, Tev. I know. Ahija, I'm not 50, bro. Raw, definitely not 50. Sean, I see you in the comments. Sean, we're gonna talk. Sean, bro. Clavan, yes, we did sign Clavan. Endo, Adrian. How many of those players actually cost money, like big money? Because Anthony Robinson is going to cost big money. We're going to have to spend proper money. Milner was before Klopp. Andy Cap, that was before Klopp. So I've counted Adrian, Thiago, Endo, and Clavan. I don't see us getting Anthony Robinson, guys, even though I'd love us to. I think he's quality. If it was up to me and it was my first choice, I'd sign Teo Hernandez, who apparently will leave the club or leave AC Milan. But Teo Hernandez is 26, I think. So we ain't going to get Teo Hernandez either. I don't think we sign a left back older than 25. We've also been linked to Carreras at Benfica, who was formerly at Manchester United. If it's me, I'm probably looking at maybe a Nuno Mendes. Kirk should be on the list. But we do. Oh, Leao, I've not heard these allegations about Teo Hernandez. I'll have to read into that if you can tell me. Nuno Mendes, Harsh Chowdhury, I think his contract ends in a year or two. So I don't think he's got that long left on his contract. So we could potentially look for him as well. Hato is another one. But one thing I will say is we absolutely have to address this. I don't think we do it in January because we'll be left with 3 left backs. And I don't think we'll sell one in January. But we absolutely have to do something about it. So be very intrigued to see what you guys think. Do drop some names in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about left back situation. Do you think I'm being too harsh on Robbo? Do you think the fan base has been too harsh on Robbo? Do let me know, people. Do let me know. If you haven't already, guys, smash that like button. Over 700 of you watching at this point. So let's get this video to 1,000 likes. I think that's kind of what we all want to do now. We all want to get 1,000 likes on each video, guys, if we can. And we will be back later today with our Monday night live show. So make sure you tune into that. Probably go live around anytime between 8:30 and 9. So make sure you watch out for that. We'll be speaking about the left back situation again, Trent's contract situation in more depth, and also speaking about the attacking situation now that Jota's back and Chiesa looks like he's going to be in the squad for the Southampton game as well. So people, make sure you join us then. Switch on the notification bell as and finally, pray for me so I don't smash this laptop to absolute pieces as well, guys. Because I'm being very patient at the moment, but it's really grinding my gears and I don't want to throw this thing against the wall and cause a scene in the house. So people, please do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let me hit these super chats before we go as well. Shout out to Nilo Powell, says, hand on heart, is he worth more than Salah? No, Trent's not worth more than Salah yet. Definitely not. The official AMD speak says salary isn't determined by position on the pitch, but rather influence on the game during the match. Trent is a game changer. People need to stop the only right back narrative. Big up and bless to your fam. Big up yourself, official AMD speaks, and I fully agree with that. Shout out to Shaq, who says he's the type who leaves and we regret for life. #truth. Potentially, I think it works both ways. I think he'd regret leaving us, and I think we'd regret losing him. Sammy says the club LFC stature, money shouldn't even be a public conversation. I hear that as well. I hear that. Shout out to Mikey Smith, Cal's new laptop fund. Appreciate that. I really do. Vince's viewpoint says new laptop fund. Appreciate that, Vince, as well. KJ SJ7 says, I told you, man, about Robinson for years. You have to be fair. I do remember you speaking about him. But nah, I'm going to try and sort my laptop. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. Over the last week, I have been speaking with HP and have reset everything on my laptop. I've wiped my laptop clean, which took a lot of effort. I've reinstalled Windows and done all of that. So I'm speaking to HP again today to see what's next and whether I can actually fix it or I do have to dip into my pockets, which aren't very deep at the moment, and buy a new laptop. So we will see. But thank you for your patience, everyone. Big up to everyone who's watched and listened. My name has been Callum, representing Team Kop-Ish. Till we see you next time. Stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kop-Ish and we're out, people. Take care. Oh, and if you're a combat fan, going live in about 5 to 10 minutes on the Sanderson Show, just stay here. You'll be redirected. And even if you're not a combat fan, I would greatly appreciate you just subscribing to the Sanderson Show channel and just liking a few videos. So people, enough love to you all. Speak to you soon. Take care.